Everybody's dusty. Like how many people did the Govardhan Dandavat Parikrama? How are you feeling? Merely physically exhausted, or physically exhausted and spiritually enlivened? Both?
Enlivened, just
Okay.
enlivened.
Even more enlivened than physically exhausted. You'll go ready to go do it again?
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Tell me
Something
about
nice about just taking your body and just like pushing it so hard that you kind of get off the bodily platform, or you get off the mental platform too, right? And it's just like, this is what I'm doing for Krishna. I don't care about anything. Nothing else matters. Dandavat Parikrama. Serious stuff. Intense practice. Nice. So we're back in the Gita. And I was just mentioning to many of you, we could, yesterday I think we kind of ended, but with it all fired up, hey, we can do this, we can get through the whole Gita. I'm not sure if that should be the mood, or if it should be like, let's just enjoy the Gita now. We've laid down a lot of foundation, let's just enjoy reading it. I've seen people nod when I say that. There's still part of me saying, no, we should do the whole thing. Yeah, it's, well, maybe we can do both. Let's see. I want to welcome Gita Priya here. My wife has arrived.
Gita Priya, there she is.
All right, so then let's just go ahead and we're hitting some exciting chapters now. We're going to wind up the first part of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the first 6 chapters, where the theme is Karma Yoga. So just again, in a nutshell, what we mean when we say that there's a theme that Krishna is sharing with Arjuna in these chapters. And what is that theme? It's a simple message. We can narrow it down to the yoga that you should perform is the yoga where you combine knowledge with working in this world, where you engage in your social responsibilities in life. Arjuna, that's the path that you should follow. There's other paths that one could follow, but that's the path that you should follow. But as we enter into the middle 6 chapters, he's going to go much deeper than that. But you should do it thinking of me. You should do it dedicating it all to me. You should do it always remembering me. And if you always remember me, if you make me the by serving, doing your duties with knowledge, not just doing your duties, because that would just be karma. But when you combine the knowledge with that, now you're doing them informed with knowledge of yourself, of who you are, of what this world is, of who God is. When you do your work infused with that knowledge, then that purifies you. That becomes yoga now. That becomes karma yoga. And what does yoga give you? It begins to purify your mind. You begin to let go of all the things that are unimportant. It changes your perspective. Things that used to seem like a big deal suddenly become very small things when you have knowledge, right? And so what do you get from that? You get a peaceful mind, right? This is the wisdom stage, where now you've let go of all the insignificant things. That knowledge that you are applying theoretically has begun to be integrated into your vision of how you see the world and how you respond to the world. And so that's giving you this peaceful mind. Things that upset other people don't upset you. Things that distract other people don't distract you. Things that bewilder people, attract people, they don't bewilder and attract you. You see them for what they are through the eyes of knowledge. You're not so moved by them, right? That's giving you a peaceful mind. Everything's settled down. And what does that give one the ability to do?
Become absorbed. Become absorbed.
Thank you very much. Become absorbed. Take your mind and absorb it deep in spiritual content, right? That's what yoga is, right? Focus, right? Meditative focus, unwavering meditative focus. Krishna's telling Arjuna again and again, he wants him to hit that point of unwavering meditative focus. And where is the focus going?
On Krishna.
On him, on Krishna. Focus on me with unwavering meditative focus. And boom, that's where everything ignites. And When you're able to focus on Krishna with unwavering meditative focus, chant that name with complete focus, meditate on his pastimes, on his form with complete focus, all that Arjuna is suffering right now, all that will just disappear. Right? We'll be able to move through this world. And that's going to have a lot to do with what this chapter, this 6th chapter, is going to get to. You're going to be able to see things that others can't see. You're going to be able to see what others can't see. Right? Sometimes I've used, maybe you can turn the volume, that thing off, the ringer off. Thank you. Sometimes like you have like like take a city, take like a modern city like New York City, and you walk down the street. And the common person walks down the street, and what do they see? They see what's right in front of their eyes. They see a sidewalk and a street with cars on it, and they see buildings, and the buildings have shops in them. And above the shops, there's other units, whether they're apartments or office buildings. They're seeing that surface. But someone with a deeper knowledge about what a city is, like a city planner, like an architect, not even just an architect, like an architect would know, but even these people that really design cities, they know everything that's going on behind, underneath, right? They know that there's so much more than just this surface. They know that right below this sidewalk, there's, first of all, this building is this tall above, but it goes actually just as deep below, right? It had this foundation dug deep in there. And there's all kind of girders, steel girders that are supporting the whole thing. And there's all kind of rooms down there. And the subway is going right down where we see the cars driving. There's a subway right there. And below us is a subway platform. And underneath that, there are all kind of cables, different kind of, I don't know, fiber optic cables. I don't know exactly what all that means. But there's different kind of cables going on everywhere. There's a whole water system, a system of water flowing underneath, sewage, electricity, cable networks, all of these, they see it all. They're aware. They're aware of what's going on underneath and behind everything. It's perfectly clear in their minds. Krishna is saying is that most people are walking through this world and they're just seeing the surface, but he's saying, look deeper and you'll see me behind everything, right? There's nothing happening here that doesn't have Krishna's lotus fingerprints on it. It's all moving by his direction, by his will. Sometimes he's doing it indirectly. He expands into Lord Vishnu, right? And Lord Vishnu, in a mystic slumber, creates unlimited universes. Then he enters into each one of those universes, lies down again. Mystically, a lotus grows from his navel. How far out is that? And upon that navel, upon that lotus is born this being that's inconceivable to us. He has a lifetime that's we can't even really wrap our mind around how long that lifetime is. He has powers we can't even begin to conceive how powerful he is, or how the depth of his intelligence. That with his own mind, he can create. What's the first thing that he creates? Anyone know? Or the first people, at least. 4 Kumars. From his meditation, he creates these 4 sages, right? Then from it, they kind of upset him a little bit. Do you know how? He wanted them to become like progenitors. They're like, it wasn't that they didn't want to grow up. They didn't want to become progenitors because they saw that as too entangling. They were these Brahman realized little sages. They said, we'll just stay just like this. Then there'll be no question, And Brahma was like, come on, I'm taking up all this responsibility. I'm hoping my sons are going to get behind me and help me continue. And with his first parent, the person that has the greatest ability to manipulate the material energy, he's creating the universe, right? We can barely move anything. I look at how Radha Swami's potency moves things. And look at this building that we're in. It's not a small thing. It's a pretty nice building. But it comes from a meditation of one person and their Shakti, their potency, and it expands. It requires so much. It requires funding. It requires the land itself. It requires the design, all the materials that are there,
Devotees.
people to build it. You got to know that people are going to come to it or the whole thing's going to collapse. You have to have the power to attract the people to come to it. So much coming from the potency that originating in the mind and the heart of one person. But this is just one building. Now you look at the whole Eco Village and it's a wonderful thing. Brahma creates everything. There's nobody that's more capable of manipulating the material energy. But even he immediately becomes frustrated. My kids won't do what I say. The familiar frustration for parents. My kids won't do what I say. And he becomes angry. He loses his peace of mind. And from his anger, you know what comes next? Huh? Well, the Kroda is the anger, but from Brahma's Kroda. Shiva.
Yeah.
Lord Shiva is, and then Lord Shiva creates problems for him, and it's like there's a whole thing. But Krishna, he's ultimately the one behind everything. And is he upset? Does he get angry? Is he troubled, disappointed? Brahma gets frustrated, disappointed, angry, embarrassed. All the things that the materialist struggles, we see right up to the top, right up to Brahma, right from the beginning. Any concept of individuality from Krishna, a separation from Krishna, leads to anxiety. And Arjuna is experiencing it right now. Krishna is saying, just see me behind everything. Your anxiety will disappear. Even in the most difficult circumstances, and we're going to hear about that in the 6th chapter, even in the most difficult circumstances, you remain peaceful. Like that. A couple questions.
This
Yes,
may be
Dominica.
sorry, this is probably a very not so question, but does Krishna ever experience fear or anxiety, or is this something that only we experience? And
Krishna experiences that whole range of human emotions, but he experiences them in a different way than we do. He voluntarily enters into them for the purpose of love, for his play, for his lila. He may experience all of these, but he's never controlled by them the way that we were controlled by them, or he voluntarily accepts becoming. His mother's chasing after him. She's actually got a stick in her hand. And he's running. He's afraid, But that fear is the fear that a child fears when they're in trouble from their loving mother. And he wants to feel that feeling entirely because it's all infused with love. It's infused with his love and it's infused with her love. And he wants to feel it all, so he feels fear.
so this fear, anger, attachment is something that we only experience in the material world, never in
We're
the
experiencing the
spiritual world.
reflection of all of these. It was interesting. There was that very night. There's a couple girls here that were here, and their friend. They were all from Netherlands. They were with us. Her name was. One of them names was Esther. Aliana. Aliana. So her and I were talking. Oh, we're going off on a tangent right now. But we were talking. She had some questions after one class. And we're talking, because earlier we were talking about reflections and how reflections are real but unreal, and how reflections appear exactly like what's being reflected, but they're completely upside down, and how therefore this world, because it is a reflection, it means there is a spiritual world beyond this, because there has to be the origin that's being reflected, but how it has to be exactly like this world, except exactly different. Right? Upside down, backwards. Or this is the backwards world, and that's the world that's as it is. And then we're talking about the feelings of separation. And so here in this world, those feelings are very painful. So, but this is where it looks exactly like the spiritual world, but it's exactly upside down. So separation here is suffering. It's misery. And separation in the spiritual world looks just the same, but it's the complete opposite. And I said, and it is, and she just knew, and she said, it's ecstasy. She said it like that. And when she said it, I said, this person's a natural devotee. Because I could see the excitement in her heart when she caught on to that idea. And so the whole range of human emotions is all originates in Krishna. But in the spiritual realm, what looks like suffering, it's all bliss. It's only in this world, the prism, through this material prism, that it gets warped. And what is bliss in the spiritual realm becomes suffering in this realm due to its separation, its disconnection from Krishna. Is that right?
Thank you.
And Jivaji.
Hey, Haribol.
Oh.
So, when you were talking about, so this is sort of, please tell me if I'm in the right track here. I'm the right
Okay.
track here. So, an aspect of Brahman meditating, all of these generations coming down, and all the stories with Shiva, and then the story of that dissemination to Hanuman, and all of those things, and then it leads all the way down to us, is sort of the first thing that I came up with was like processed food. So I'm sorry to speak of it that way, but like there's the natural original form. And through the generations, correct me, this is just what I was thinking, through the generations, through all of the generations of human beings being born and all of these things, through all of that to right now, we're basically the Cheetos of the original form of food. Like we're just impure, but we still have that one little flick of part and parcel of
Well,
God. Is that something that's
It
completely
depends.
off?
Yeah, it depends exactly how you want to analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact is, no matter what age, thank you so much. No matter what age we live in, no matter what yuga we live in, we are still in the self is unchangeable. That's the nature of the self. It never changes. It's as pure as it ever was, and it will always be. But on earth, there's a cycle of yugas going on. And those cycles are, from pure to less, less, and less. And then pure again, less, less, and less. So our bodies and the quality of our minds tend to become,
Cheetos.
yeah, they're more like degraded,
Yeah, this is
unhealthy, if you want to say it that way. Yeah. So that's the changing of the yuga cycles.
okay.
And therefore the changing of our bodies, shorter lifetimes, shorter memories, changing of our mindsets, harder to keep the mind peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
That's we're going through those cycles,
Okay.
but
So
we can transcend them.
Yeah.
And there's specific, special disposition in this Kali Yuga, because Sri Chaitanya comes in this Kali Yuga. And it's saying, despite the fact that your mind is so weak and malnourished, simply by chanting this name, you become not even entirely restored, but restored to the most special platform of the Braja Bhakti, the Raga Bhakti, the special love, intimate love of Vrindavan. He's giving it. He's trying to give this away. That's something that the followers of Sri Chaitanya have to really understand, that there's something, the bhakti tradition in general is glorious, and the devotion that Vaishnava lineage is shared for, like, say, Lord Vishnu, and their mode of reverence that they have for Vishnu, and the love that they have, is an absolutely beautiful, wondrous, special thing. But what Sri Chaitanya is coming, he's giving something, saying beyond that. There's something really very, very, very special, incredibly. It's so special that it practically drives Krishna himself mad. And that's the intimate love that the residents in Vrindavan have, that wasn't shared previously. There was one lineage that was kind of beginning to show what that was, this Nimbarka lineage. But about 500 years ago, there was a manifestation of this in the 4 different lineages, at least 3 or 4 of them. And that there's this very special love, the love of the residents of Vrindavan. And Krishna says, I want to come and become a student of that kind of love. I want to come down and learn that, because I see that Radharani has it, and I see that what she's experiencing is beyond anything. I can't even experience that from the position that I'm in. I want to become a student in the school of Radha's love. And he gets trained by Radha's best friends, Lalita Devi and Vishaka Devi, in the forms of Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami. And he goes to Puri and he enters that school. And he stays up all night studying and experiencing the feelings that Radharani has. And that's that love, the love that's spoken of in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam in Vrindavan, that Krishna, that's the rarest thing. And people do all kinds of the self-disciplines and practices to achieve that. But Sri Chaitanya, it's 2 things are going on at once. He's got his internal focus and his external focus. And on the internal, and it's 2 sides of one coin. When he's focused inwardly, it's called prema. He has this prema for Krishna, that the prema that's Radha's feeling. But when you take that and you turn it around and you face it to the rest of the world, the same prema is compassion. It's the same exact thing pointed the other way, right? If we don't have compassion, we don't have prema, because it's the same thing just pointed in a different direction. So that compassion drives him to say, it's kind of like if you owned a big market and you said, today I just want to give everything away. As a matter of fact, you're running and trying to give it to people that you don't even want it. That's Sri Chaitanya. That's Lord Nityananda. That they're like, take this love and accept it, but I'm not interested. Then Lord Nityananda is down on his knees, grabbing people's feet and saying, please accept it. We're giving it away today. You don't miss this opportunity. That's the lineage that we're in. And that's the only reason why we're Cheetos kind of people, and somehow we're getting this kind of special grace.
Thank you for bringing that in.
You're welcome. And we haven't gotten to our 6th chapter yet, and I see William coming up with a great question. So we'll take this one question and then we'll go to the 6th chapter.
Thank you so much. I was just wondering how this all relates to the golden age that we're in now, because my understanding is we're in Kali Yuga now. It's just kicking off.
Yes.
But Lord Chaitanya marked the beginning of the golden age.
Yes.
So now it's actually quite a good time to be alive.
It's a very good time to be alive.
I was wondering if you could maybe expand that slightly.
I don't want to go too into it because, but basically what I just shared, that it's a very rare opportunity. It's kind of like sometimes there's a special sale in a store. And our Acharya is right about it like that. They talk about the marketplace of the holy name, that Lord Nityananda is running down through that marketplace saying, come on, everybody, here, take it, it's free. The only one price that you pay is your faith. If you just have faith in it, you can accept it and receive it. And so it's said that the devas in the heavens, they're thinking the best place to be is the earth in this Kali Yuga, because they know that they're materially attached. They know that we're the servants of Vishnu. We respect him and we serve his will. But we also have our separate lives too. We also have our enjoyments of this world, and they're so great that it's hard to let them go. So they're like devotees that have material attachments. But they know that down there on that earth right now, there's something going on, that you can transcend it all and receive an experience that's so much more than what we're experiencing up here on these planets, where they love not only Vishnu, but they love Krishna. And they get a chance to sometimes see, when Krishna's doing the Rasa Leela, where are the devas? They're floating above in their airplanes, showering flowers down in the whole. They can't participate, but they can get a vision of it sometimes. And so they know there's something far more than what they're experiencing. And they know that it's somehow being given away right now in this world. Prabhupada used to say some amazing things. There'd be a kirtan going on. Prabhupada said, you didn't see? Have you heard these stories before?
No.
Yeah, you didn't see? Narada was here. You didn't see? He named different devas. Brahma, you remember?
I think he said that in London. And
Yeah, in London,
he
yeah.
said to make two little Vyasa sons.
Uh-huh.
And he said because every night when there's Gora Aarti, Narada Muni and Lord Brahma come.
Yeah. So
that's why in the London temple we have two little Vyasa
Right.
sons either side of the altar.
amazing. So it's special. Okay. Are you ready for 6th chapter?
Thank you.
This chapter begins with a very powerful and emphatic verse about the same theme that we've had here, but Krishna's going to say really strong to Arjuna. Here we go. Krishna says, one who is unattached to the fruits of his works. Oh, by the way, let us try to note how in this chapter we're going to go from duty to knowledge to wisdom, absorption, and love in one chapter. All right? We ready for that?
Ready.
So, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he's obligated, what's that? Yeah, well, or duty. Okay, do your duty. But you're doing your duty now unattached to the fruits of works. How is that possible? Knowledge, right? Work infused with knowledge breeds detachment. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. What word is used? Sannyasi. He says he's a sannyasi. And then he says he's in the renounced order of life and he is the true mystic. Do you know what word he uses for mystic? Or what? He says yogi. He says he's the real sannyasi, he's the real yogi. Arjuna's like, all right, I thought you can't be a warrior and be a real mystic and sannyasi. But Krishna's saying that's the real one. And then he says this to be more emphatic, and not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. What does that mean?
Not a renunciation.
But what's this fire? What's that all about? Doing sacrifices. The sannyasis don't do fire sacrifices, right? That's not their business. That's the grihastha brahmanas that do this. When you buy a new house, what do? You do a fire sacrifice. You do a ritual. When you get married, you do a ritual, right? When you have the birth of a child, you do a ritual. When you want to conceive a child, you do the ritual. When the child eats its first grains, you do a ritual. When and the brahmanas, they do a fire sacrifice every day in their home. That's part of what they do. Bless us we do here, actually. I don't know if you all know in the Yagnashal here, but here it's all bhakti infused. But commonly you do the fire ceremonies so that your material endeavor, your worldly endeavors in life will be blessed and connected to the Supreme. The sannyasis, they don't light fires. They don't get married. They don't have kids. They don't conceive kids. They don't go through all of this stuff, right? But Krishna's saying the real sannyasi is the one that works in this world, but does it with detachment. He's saying, Arjuna, that's what you should be doing, right? Don't think that that's some second-class kind of yoga, some consolation prize kind of yoga. No, that's the true sannyasi, the true mystic, working in this world, looking like a materialist, but completely detached. You're a mystic. Okay? That should be encouraging to him right now, right? Okay. For what is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself to the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. He doesn't say renounce action. He doesn't say renounce duty. He says renounce the desire for some selfish gratification. I'm going to move a little quick now. He's going to say, I'm not going to read all these verses, they'll slow us down too much. But he's going to say that a person who's very advanced and with a very peaceful mind can renounce work, and others can't. So you should do what's appropriate for yourself. He says a person is elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desire, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruit activities. One must deliver himself with the help of the mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. We can reprogram our minds with our intellect so that we become conditioned towards yoga, so that we begin to develop a taste, and making the right decisions becomes natural and easy. Could we roll up to the top, number 6? For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who's failed to do so, his mind will remain the worst enemy. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached. Now we're getting a little bit, I think maybe is this the first mention of the super soul we've heard?
Yeah.
I think it may be in the Bhagavad-gita, which is interesting. It took this long. Paramatma. There's a manifestation of God that's behind it, moving everything in this universe, controlling, regulating everything in this universe, in the heart of every living being, in every living being, and every living being is in that person, right in your own heart, ready to speak to you. And what's in between you and hearing that voice? It's up there. The mind. The mind. Right there, the mind, right? For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. Tranquility here, absorption, right? Can't have absorption without tranquility. It's saying you can begin to connect with God in your own heart on this level, right? We should be working for that. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. What's the word for that? Samatvam, sameness, right? He's saying it again. He's been saying it quite a few times already, right? He's going to say it more throughout the Bhagavad-gita. Practice having an even mind under any external circumstances. That is yoga. Okay, I want to highlight 2 verses for you. This verse opened up talking about duty and how duty should be performed with detachment. And we all know that it is knowledge that you could say activates or gives us the ability to be detached. And now we're going to hear about knowledge. Okay, we're going to hear about jnana in action and where it leads. And where does knowledge lead when it matures? Before absorption? Wisdom, right? When it's integrated. Listen to these 2 verses and think about their meaning. I find these to be very important. And I think these are game changers for Arjuna, because up to this point, Arjuna has been, I don't know if stubborn is the right word, but he hasn't quite caught on yet. There's something in him that's still saying, I think I should walk away from the battlefield and be a yogi. Right? Yeah, there's a resistance here. He hasn't caught on that Krishna's kind of been telling him, you're not qualified to do that. But there is another yoga you can do. He hasn't quite caught on. I think these verses, I think they're going to affect Arjuna. I think once these are said, I think it's going to take a little bit of I think it's going to make him very thoughtful, introspective. And they're describing 2 levels of knowledge or 2 levels of detachment, deeper integration of knowledge. towards wisdom. Very interesting. And the second one I really want to discuss with you. First one, a person is said to be established in self-realization is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied, right? Peaceful mind, fully satisfied, right? Fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge, vijnana and vijnana. What more do I need in the world? Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. Practically went straight up from knowledge to wisdom to absorption, just right here in this one verse. Do you see that? They're situated in transcendence and they're self-controlled. And now look at this. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, is the same. There's that sameness again, right? You give him a rock, okay? You give him gold, okay? No difference, right? If you went up into the Himalaya mountains right now and found yogis that are living up there and practicing their yoga and experiencing some deep self-realization, they live very simply. Have you ever seen these videos they find someone up in the snow? Have you seen that before? It's like even the cold doesn't bother them. They're like covered in snow, like way up there, and they're just like wearing nothing, you know? They got their dreadlocks, you know? Yeah. And they come out of the snow and like the film people are like, well, who is this person? What are they doing? And if you find a person like that that's experiencing something so deep, and you said, here's a big bar of gold, right? Or here is $1 billion. You know, but so let's say it's a bar of gold, like that's worth like millions. And you said, here, I'm going to give you this bar of gold. What do you think they'll do with it?
No, thank you.
There's nothing that they can do with it, right? I'm gonna take this bar of gold and I'm gonna go into the city. I'll go down to Delhi. I'll get some money for it. I'll open a bank account. I'll buy a house, buy a car. It doesn't. He's not interested in any of that. It's not, you could have just as well have handed him as a rock. There's going to be no change in him. His heart's not going to start to beat faster. His mind isn't going to start to race. Oh my God, all the things I could do now that I have this gold. He's going to be like, you can keep it. You can put it down over there. Maybe I'll use it for, I don't know. Yeah, they keep it to keep the door open or something like that. It doesn't change him, okay? Whereas most people, if you give them that bar of gold, maybe even most of us, right? We start to think, oh my God, this is huge. The things that I can do now, the things I don't need to do now, this has changed my life entirely. All right? This person hasn't changed my life at all. All right? Think about that. That's the person that can meditate and go into trance. Otherwise, you're still caught in the external things. But now listen to what he says next. He says, a person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. What do we call that? Samadarshana, right? Samadarshana. He's saying that it's one thing to see things equally, even like gold and stones. One can do practically nothing for you, and the other can facilitate all your material dreams. And the yogi sees them both as the same because they don't have material dreams. But it's a whole nother level when we're talking about people and how you relate to people. That friends and enemies, people that wish you well and people that wish you harm, people that say sweet things about you and people that say all kind of horrible, unfair criticisms of you, you see them both the same. One doesn't elate you. It's just like the sweetest thing that you could ever hear, and you just keep wanting them to say more, say more. And the other is just saying things that are just burn you up, saying things about you that are just even a little thing someone can say. Even when people don't say something, but we misinterpret it, we're very prone. Are we not prone to those kind of things? What do you mean by that?
Taking offense.
It didn't mean anything. You know? What do you mean by that? You know, you can see even the person that's downright set against you and hates you, wants to ruin your life, you could see them the same as the person that wishes you, the sweetest person that has the deepest affection for you. You can see them the same. You don't hold any grudge against that person. You know, this is the kind of mind that one can do what the subject of the 6th chapter is, and that's Ashtanga yoga, dhyana yoga, meditative yoga, walking away from the world, sitting very quietly, settling the mind, finding God within one's own heart. That's what it's going to take, that kind of mind. Arjuna's hearing this. What do you think Arjuna thinks when he hears this verse? Does he have any enemies in the world?
He is a battlefield.
Yeah, you're right. What about Duryodhana, Dushasana?
Yeah.
Dushasana is his own cousin. He grabbed his wife by the hair, dragged her into a public assembly. Then Duryodhana, his other cousin, said, strip her naked right now. Arjuna says, has to sit there and watch that. I had to feel the same way about him as I feel about people that are kind to me and who wish us well. I don't know if I have what it takes to have that kind of peaceful mind. I don't know if I can sit quietly and meditate then. I don't know if I have what it takes. I think this is where Arjuna starts to think like this. Okay, let's move a little faster now. Now we know about the mind of the person that can perform Ashtanga yoga. Krishna is going to show in this chapter one way to realize me within your own heart is Ashtanga yoga, and I'm going to talk about that now. It's not an important thing I want to highlight right now is a lot of times when people read the Bhagavad-gita, they're saying there's so many different paths of yoga and you just pick the one that you want. Look, there's a whole chapter on Ashtanga yoga, right? But look what happens in this chapter. It's not that Krishna is saying, Arjuna, this is the yoga that you should do. It's more like Arjuna wouldn't get it through his head that he should fight the battle. Engage with the world rather than walk away from the world. And when he just wouldn't accept it, then he finally said, okay, let me tell you really what it looks like. You understand? Let me really tell you what the path looks like. And when he says it in detail, then finally Arjuna says, okay, I don't think I can do that. So he's really discouraging him from this path. I say it's like this, like if you're in New York and you're in Manhattan and it's wintertime and you want to get to Brooklyn. And so you ask someone, how can I get to Brooklyn? And they say, well, there's several ways that you can go, several paths you could take, right? You could get a taxi cab. It's expensive, but it's, easy. You could take the subway. It's less expensive, a little bit more complicated. You could walk across the bridge. It's going to take a long time. It's kind of cold. Or you could swim, potentially, Swimming, yes, that's the way I want to go. That's the authentic path. That's the real thing. I want to do that. That's what the real people going to Brooklyn do. And that's what I want to do. And then you say, no, you don't want to do it that way. And they're saying, no, that's what I want to do. And you realize that they're kind of bent on that idea. And then you say, let me tell you what it looks like, right? First of all, that water is so cold you can't even imagine. Now the current is so strong that most people, unless they're very accomplished swimmers, are going to drown before they get to the other side. But what to speak of when it's winter? Hypothermia is going to set in after 10 minutes, and it's going to take you at least an hour to swim across that thing. With the currents, your body's going to be freezing up. You're going to be suffering intensely. You're going to die in that river, and you're going to sink to the bottom of that thing. Is that what you want? And they say, okay, maybe that's not what I want to do. So is it really that we're just saying take any path? No, Krishna's trying to steer Arjuna away from this path. He's saying it's a valid path, but Arjuna's going to walk away from this chapter saying, I can't do that. And Krishna's going to say, it's okay. It's okay. There's another path that I recommend. And actually, the ones on this other path are the greatest yogis of all. So we'll get there. All right. So we're going to hear, I'm going to go through this a little quick. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone. That's not easy to do, in a secluded place, and should always carefully control his mind. That's very difficult to do. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. Please roll it on up. To practice yoga, once you go to secluded place, should lay down kusha grass on the ground and then cover with a deer skin and a soft cloth. That's so that the snakes don't come and bite you when you're doing your meditation, so I've heard. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point. Very difficult to do. He should hold his body and neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Are you prepared to do this all alone out in the forest for months, years at a time? Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free of sex life, one should meditate upon me. Boom. See, Ashtanga Yoga, and according to Krishna, is for meditating on him. Right? Patanjali says you don't have to, but when Krishna in Bhagavad-gita describes Ashtanga Yoga, it's a path to get to him, but not the path that he's recommending. One should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. There's no possibility of one becoming a yogi or Arjuna if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much, doesn't sleep enough. You can't do what your body wants. You have to control the body. You have to control the mind. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he's said to be well established in yoga, as a lamp in a windless place does not waver. So the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. What are we talking about here? Absorption, right? Now the mind's not wavering anymore, but it's a hard path to get there, this Ashtanga Yoga. Now listen to what you get when you're there, what it feels like, what you become, how you're situated. He's talking about that state of trance now, okay, samadhi. And he's going to say that when you're in that state of trance and you experience your own true nature, something very powerful happens. And it's so strong, it's blissful, and it takes you beyond the reach of the, you're no longer under the control of this world. We're all under the control of this world. We're happy one day and sad the next. We work hard to create a certain circumstance where we can be satisfied or peaceful or safe. And then the world moves in such a way where it's not like that anymore. And then we go through these waves of up and down, up and down. But Krishna's saying there's a way to be beyond that. If you actually go deep within, and if you can enter the state of trance and feel your own nature and experience the fact that you're beyond this world, that your own nature is untouchable, it's not like the shelters of this world, that it doesn't matter what happens. You can feel bliss under any circumstances, and nobody can take it from you. No change in circumstance can take it from you. These are nice verses here. You ready? If you ever want to give people a vision of why people would practice yoga traditionally, these are nice verses for that. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind, a mind that's not programmed with all kind of false ideas about who I am and what I need to be happy. Right? And to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Boundless transcendental happiness. Right? Established thus, one never departs from the truth. I never think I'm this body, I need this to be happy. And upon gaining this, he thinks there's no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. Look at Arjuna right now. He's all shaken, right? He's in a difficult circumstance, and it just shook him like crazy. He couldn't speak. His voice was his body was shaking. He was dropping his bow. Tears, you know. He's all shaken up. He's saying you could reach a state when you really realize the self, when you feel your own nature, nothing can shake you from it. And I think in this class, we used that example of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. Was that in this class?
Yeah.
We spoke a bit about that.
Yeah.
How he turned to Radha Swami. His leg was amputated. His body was racked with cancer. He had maybe a day or so left to live. He was chanting Krishna's name. Tears were gushing out of his eyes. Not tears of sorrow, tears of joy, tears of bliss, spiritual bliss. And he had a smile on his face like Radha Swami had never seen in his life. And even though most people would say that life just couldn't get any worse, he said, Radha Swami, life just doesn't get any better than this, right? Upon gaining this, he thinks there's no greater gain. Life does not get any better than this, right? Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty, right? We can achieve these states. We shouldn't think that it's impossible, that it's out of the reach. No, we can, right? Interesting, yes?
Yeah.
So we've seen duty, knowledge, wisdom, now absorption, right? Okay, let's keep reading. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction. Right? I have this knowledge now. The knowledge gives me the conviction, right? The knowledge says you're not your body. The knowledge says anything of this material world is temporary. Whatever joy that you get from anything material is going to be followed by suffering. There's no shelter there. You develop a conviction in that, right? And that conviction gives you wisdom that you get detached, let go of everything, and only then can you enter into the trance, into that fully absorbed state. So this is all just getting laid out here, right? One should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction. And thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. The yogis whose mind is fixed on me. Okay, now he's done something, right? Patanjali doesn't quite do this, but Krishna is explicit. Yeah, you need to bring your mind and focus it on one object. Focus it on me. For one whose mind is fixed on me, they verily attain the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. Right? There's a happiness that's beyond. Happiness beyond just the normal bliss of the self. A happiness that's in realizing the love in the heart that one has for Krishna. For the yogi whose mind is fixed on me, they verily attain the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the modes of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity of the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds, right? The reactions to past deeds, the karma, that's meant to reform us. But this person doesn't need any reformation. They've already realized everything. They've learned every lesson they're meant to learn. They've understood everything there is to understand. And that's going to be shown now through their experience and their vision. This chapter, these verses are really, really amazing. He's talking about this state of incredible vision and awareness achieved through Ashtanga Yoga. In the next 8 chapters, he's going to say you can achieve that through bhakti. But he's going to describe them really well in these verses. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free of all material contamination, achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Now listen to this, these next 2 verses. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Okay, this is the vision. This is Prabhupada used to say we need to be Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. Right? This is what he's talking about. We were speaking earlier about a person like a city planner walking through a city, seeing more than others see, aware of things that others aren't aware of. There's so many analogies that we can use where one person really understands something and another person doesn't. I used this example recently. There's a musician. He's a musician and a producer, and he has sold more records than any human being in the world. 850 million. 850 million records that he's either been on himself, played himself, performed himself, or produced the record, right? That means he's like a big creative force behind it. 850 million. It puts him in a category uniquely beyond any other human being, way beyond even Paul McCartney. It's a incredible accomplishment. But I bet many of you don't even know his name. William. Huh?
Nile Rodgers?
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Nile Rodgers. He was in the late 70s, he was in a band called Chic. And they were like a disco band. Mm-hmm. It's funny because he produced a record like decades later, maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or less, maybe 10 years ago, by this band called Daft Punk. Yeah, when I heard that song, I said, this is a pure, straight up disco song, like back in the set. This is like the.
Get Lucky.
Yeah, I was like, where is, and then later on I found out he produced it. And it was coming from the guy that was producing that stuff. That band Chic, their music is so infectious that even because that's where rap started. Like the first big rap hit was rapping over a song by Chic. Yeah, it was Rapper's Delight. Right. So like he has this unique ability, but if you see a photograph of him, most people don't know who he is. If you hear his name, most people don't know his name. But if you know music, you can pick up, like I didn't really know them, but I said, this sounds like 70, it was because he was behind it. And somebody that really knows music, they'll be able to hear a record and say, oh, that's Nile Rodgers. I can tell he's behind this. You understand? Mm-hmm. Someone with the right, who's familiar enough, can feel his presence in that music. His creativity is infused through that music. His unique artistic vision is infused and it's got a certain flavor. And someone could pick it up. The trained ear could pick it up, whereas the other will never pick it up. You understand? Yeah. It's Krishna saying, with your trained eyes, you can see me everywhere. Others can't see it. Mm-hmm. But it's my artistic creativity that's behind everything. It's all moving by Krishna's grace, by Krishna's mercy, by Krishna's love, by Krishna's special flavor, special creativity. The yogi can see it everywhere. Right? This is the vision Krishna wants us to have. This is how you're Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. When you see a tree growing, what do you think? It's Krishna that makes that happen. Right? When you see the ocean, when you see the clouds, when you see anything in nature, it's Krishna. But not only that, the yogis can even see, when they see human love, human conflict, it's Krishna that can bewilder one. Right? This is opening a Bhagavatam. Even he can put the sages into illusion. That's Krishna that does that. He's behind everything. I can see it. There's nothing that I'm seeing separate from him. I'm seeing him in everyone. That's what this verse says, right? The self-controlled yogi constantly becomes free. The true yogi observes me in all beings, right? There is a super soul in every being. There's a conscious regulator within everyone, a witness within everyone, a voice within everyone. There's no body that's moving without this. I can see it. I can see it. And by see it, I don't mean necessarily that they have a vision of this four-armed form inside there, but they can see it in the sense that they know it's there. They're conscious. They're aware of it. They're aware of it, right? Completely aware of Krishna's. I'm dealing with another person, and I'm not dealing with them as if Krishna's not there. I'm dealing with them with the conviction that Krishna is there. You understand? In the 13th chapter, Krishna says, when you see Krishna in the heart of every living being, your mind does not become degraded, right? It's just like in the presence of a great soul, doesn't your behavior become better, right? You kind of, it's funny because like in all the ISKCON temples, it's like when nobody wakes up and comes to the Mangalarti, but like when the guru is there, everybody's there. But it's not just because it's like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble, but it's because they're inspired to, right? They're inspired to. They're moved by that person's presence, right? And so when someone's always feeling the presence of Krishna, then they're always their most evolved self, right? So they're seeing Krishna in everyone, and they're seeing everything in Krishna. The entire universe is a body. It's a living body. And Krishna is the soul of that universe. And just as our soul spreads its awareness throughout our body, the soul of Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, it spreads its awareness throughout the entire universe by entering into everybody and by entering into every atom, right? We think of him as the biggest of the big, right? He's Mahavishnu. The universes are coming out of his pores. And he's the smallest of the small. He's entering into every atom. And through hearing and observation and contemplation and reflection and prayer and blessings, the yogi begins to see this. They see it everywhere all the time. They're making these connections, right? They're making these connections, right? Again, you walk down a city street, you jump on the subway, you come out the other end. I guess in the past you would make a phone call, although you do that with your own. But I guess even that, there's certain ways that the whether if you're doing like something on the internet on your phone, that there's certain they've put these things on the city streets now, right? These kind of big, I don't even know what they call them. Huh? They got these like, it's almost like a lamppost and it's got this big electric thing out there that's 5G or whatever, kind of thing, towers and things like that. But someone is really aware of how the whole thing's being supported. They understand what it makes to make the trains run and what it was like to dig the tunnels to have that. And a lot of that stuff we just take for granted. I don't know how the internet works. I don't know how all that information is floating through here. And I don't know how that machine can pick it up and access it. I don't know. But some people do know. Mm-hmm. And so they would be sitting here and seeing what I don't see. Mm-hmm. They would know it. They would know the effort behind it, the knowledge behind it. And similarly, the yogi is seeing Krishna everywhere like this. Mm-hmm. And now this next line, to me, this verse is incredibly important. Are you ready? Yeah. He says, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost. Now that is huge, right? If you get this vision, you're never feeling lost. You have Krishna with you at every moment, right? You have Krishna with you at every moment. What's going to shake you up? You have the Maha Ishvara right in your own heart. What is there that can threaten you, confuse you, make you bewildered or lost? You understand? I never have no access to him. I have access to him everywhere. I'm always connected. I'm always protected. I'm always safe. I'm always blissful. All right? So for one who sees me, we feel bewildered and lost when we don't feel our connection to Krishna. That's the formula. And when we're feeling that connection, it doesn't matter anything external. So that's a huge thing. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost. But this next line, it's a whole nother level. He says, and they are never lost to me. Right? Oh, there we go. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. I've been doing research, people. Although I'm not a scholar, and I can't say this for sure, but I believe this is true. And I haven't had it proven different yet. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
If you go through, we began this course by talking about Vyasa's literature and how they roll out. That first there's the 4 Vedas, and then there's the Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutra, summarizing the Upanishads. And then there's the Mahabharata. And the Mahabharata is a very long work. And so there's been thousands of verses, tens of thousands of verses, before we've come to this verse. What to speak of if we talk about all the verses in the 108 Upanishads and all the verses in the Vedas. There's a lot of verses, thousands and thousands and thousands of verses. I'm not sure about this, but I don't believe up until this point we've had one that's expressed what's been expressed in this verse. For instance, if you go to the Vedas, you can read about how you should do sacrifice and offerings to the different devas. You give something to them, you make an offering to them, and they reciprocate with it by giving you something that you wanted, right? You worship the god Agni and you get this, and you worship the goddess Lakshmi and you get that, and so on. The god reciprocates, right? But has there been one verse that says that when you make an offering with love to this god, that not only do you get something, but that God itself becomes moved, right? Here Krishna is saying, they're seeing me everywhere. They're always feeling my presence. They're always thinking about me. And Krishna is saying, and you know what? I'm always thinking about them, right? That's we haven't heard yet. You know where we're going to hear more of that? In the middle 6 chapters. We're going to hear a whole lot of that. And I think this is, we're deep into the, we're over 2/3 or so, over halfway at least, into the 6th chapter. And I think the middle 6 chapters, 7 through 12, are starting to seep over, over the border. Some of the mood, some of the message of the middle 6 chapters have kind of bleeded over into the 6th chapter here, where we hear about the heart of Krishna. This is something that, if I do some sacrifice for Agni, it's not like Agni says, now I'm thinking of you always. You become so dear to my heart. It's like, okay, you've done the thing, here's what you get. It's business. This is love that's being described. Krishna loves that person and loves them so much that they can't stop thinking about them. There's a very famous verse in Bhagavatam. Oh, I wish I remembered it. I used to know it. What is it? Krishna says, Sadhunam priyadayam tvaham, that I'm in the hearts of my devotees and the devotees are in my heart. They know nothing but me and I know nothing but them. Okay, this is Krishna. When you get to the top, you're not going to find like a business representative there, which you find with the devas. But when you get to the very top, you find that there's this person that only has love. That's the only thing that interests him. And he's moved. He's vulnerable to our love, right? They're always thinking of me. I'm always thinking of them. I'm never lost to them. They're never lost to me. I can't think of anything but them. They're always on my mind. Interesting? Okay. For such a yogi who engages in the worshipable service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, they remain always in me in all circumstances. He is the perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and distress, O Arjuna. Okay, we got a beautiful vision there, a beautiful vision of meditation, a beautiful vision of trance, absorption, spiritual experience, spiritual vision, a loving reciprocation. Wow, it's like we're really getting somewhere in the Bhagavad-gita now, you know? It's like we're about to move into a lot of this kind of stuff now. And Arjuna is like, I can imagine in this moment, he's still kind of like a mess, because he's like, well, that's just incredible. But I don't think I can do that yoga. Going off into the forest, seeing my friends and enemies is the same, having that kind of peaceful mind, going off in the forest, sitting alone, bringing my mind back. I don't think I can do it, because the mind is more difficult to control than the wind. And Krishna is going to say, that's okay, Arjuna. That's just one path to yoga, but there's other paths. You should be a yogi. You should definitely be a yogi. You can do it. You just need the appropriate practice and detachment, and it'll work for you. Don't worry about that. This is the end now. This is not that there's nowhere else in this chapter where Krishna is going to say you need to do your duty and it's better to work with detachment. There'll be some mention, but we just had 6 chapters and now Arjuna is kind of surrendered to the idea, I can't be one of those yogis. It's okay. It's all right. You can be a yogi by fighting this battle. But how do you do it? What's the key? What's the difference? That you're doing always thinking about me. Well, how can I always think about you? So let's skip forward to text 46. Or maybe in 45. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, we don't even need this. Text 46. A yogi is greater than an ascetic. Here he's described the yogi as the Ashtanga yogi, right? And he's saying it's the one that has that deep meditative focus, able to enter into trance and access him, that they're greater than a mere ascetic, someone that's just practicing intense austerities or walking away from, or renunciate, tapasvi, let's say. Well, he's going to get into that, I think. A yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than an empiricist, and greater than a fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances be a yogi. You could be a yogi, Arjuna. And then this verse, key verse, the last verse of the first 6 chapters of the Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham. Why don't you open this one up? Amongst all the different varieties of yogis. Right? Yoginam api sarvesham. Madgatan, what is it? Madgatain antaratmana. The one who's always thinking of me within themselves. Shraddhavan, with great faith. Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, worshiping me with great faith. Same yukta tamo matahad. Yukta, right? Same yukta tamo matahad. They are the uttama yukta. They're the most connected in yoga, right? They're the best yogi of all. That's my opinion, Arjuna. Right? So now this is an emphatic statement about bhakti. This is saying that the best yogi of all is the one that's always thinking of him. They're the ones that have gone right to the essence. They skipped over all of the non-essential. They've gone right to the very essence of it all, because all yoga is meant to reconnect us with him. And if we reconnect with him, we reconnect with him in love. So when we're reconnected with him in love, we're thinking about him within ourselves. That's the internal experience, right? We serve him with great faith, right? That's the best yogi of all. Okay, well, this is like a relief. Okay, well, that's good news, because you're talking about that Ashtanga yogi, and I thought and when I was hearing about it and I realized I couldn't do that, I got nervous. And then you reassured me that I could be a yogi, and that the best way to be a yogi is to be thinking of you. But how do I think of you always? That's the question now, right? And we were going to find an answer. And then the next 6 chapters are all about that. Comparisons of the different yoga paths and the advantages of always meditating on Krishna. different ways that we can always meditate on Krishna, ways that you can be seeing him everywhere and in everything and in everyone. 6 chapters of all of this. Emphatic stuff where Krishna is saying, this is a better way to practice yoga. This is the way that people that understand things better practice yoga, right? By always thinking of me. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come out in these chapters. We have a half an hour?
Yep.
All right, so let's see if we can do chapter 7. Ready?
Yeah.
Krishna says, and this is touch Trinu, now hear from me. How are we going to remember Krishna? See him everywhere? Always think of him? Open up your ears
Here.
and hear. Now hear from me, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me. We're going to hear so much now on this absorption level in these next chapters. Having a mind absorbed in Krishna. This is where the bhakti yogi is trying to get. Mind absorbed in Krishna, right? So much dominates our minds. You know, I was thinking of an example, like sometimes the parents, they take the kids to someplace special, like the Grand Canyon. And they, you know, you travel a long way to get there. You fly on a plane and you rent some car or something, one of those campers things. Spend a lot of money. You want to have a special experience yourself, but especially you want your kid to experience something special, right? It's like parents take them, I want them to feel something. I want them to experience something that'll be important in their life. We take them to the Grand Canyon. Who's been to the Grand Canyon before? Just a few. I've never been there myself. But I hear it's really something. You'll take me? I hear it's like,
It's amazing.
it's such a sight. That vista is so grand, right? That canyon is so grand that you feel moved by the vision of it. It's so huge, it's so deep, so there's a peace maybe there. And then you have to wonder, how did it come here? How many years did this thing take to develop? How many years does the earth go back even for something like this to be produced? You know, it's meant to make you think. It's meant to change your perspective, right? We're generally just thinking just in the moment. You see something like that, you're like, oh my God, I'm a tiny little speck in unlimited time. It's meant to move you in some way. So the parents are there and they're looking at it like, oh my God, look at this. This is incredible. And the kid is on the phone, like playing some little game, trying to get better reception in on the phone so that they can play this silly game that they're playing like when they're at home. All this money, all this time, all this effort. See this, you know? See something that's astonishing. See something that is uplifting, purifying. But we're stuck looking at something that's not it's mundane. And it doesn't lift us up, it drags us down. Right? It doesn't elevate our consciousness. It prevents our consciousness from flying. It holds it down. Krishna, in a sense, he's saying here, that's what we do in life. We move through this world. There's astonishing things going on all the time. You know, look up in the sky and see the stars. Think about the food that you eat when you eat it. Where it came from. You know, that there's this body of water called an ocean. And within that ocean, there's a preservative. What's the preservative in the ocean? Salt, right? Without that salt, that it would turn into a big algae. Imagine if the entire ocean were just like full of, you know, sometimes you see a pond and it's like, because the water is stagnant, it's not very nice. Whereas like a moving body of water, like a river, it's pure water, or the ocean itself. The ocean is kind of stagnant, it just sits there. But that salt keeps it pure. But because it's full of salt, you can't use that water for so many things, like you can't water crops with it. But what does nature do? The power of the sun creates, it shines down on the water, and it I don't even know the right terminology. Yeah, I guess it evaporates it, and then the water rises into the air, and it collects as a cloud. And the cloud is a beautiful thing floating around there. It weighs like how much water is in one of those huge clouds? Can we even calculate it? I mean, it's gallons and gallons and gallons of water that are pouring over huge areas. Yeah, it's incredibly. Yeah, 1 gallon of water is like heavy to carry, and there's millions of gallons of water floating through the sky in a big fluffy marshmallow, right? And then the wind comes. Krishna creates the wind as well, right? That's also an effect of the sun, and that cloud blows, carrying all of that, and also the water got distilled as it was going up, right? It's no more any salt in it anymore, right? So it's now you have this distilled water floating, being blown all around, millions and millions of gallons of it. It floats over the earth and then it lets it all out. And then the earth hits the surface, the water hits the surface of the earth, gets kind of dirty, but it goes through a filter, which is the earth itself. It starts to go down. Gravity's pulling it down, right? And as it's getting pulled, it's not just getting filtered as it goes down, but what else is happening? All the minerals of the earth, the flavors of the earth, the aromas of the earth, the nutrients of the earth are becoming infused in that water. And then that water spreads throughout underneath the ground. And then there's a seed planted in the earth, and it's got the power of life inside it. And it reaches out and it pulls in the water, it sucks it in, right? That water that's full of nutrients now, full of flavor, full of aroma. And one seed will pull in that water, and then you have another seed that's pulling in that water. But each seed has a different genetic code. So one seed takes that water and turns it into bitter melon. Very interesting. It's very healthy. Westerners don't generally like the flavor so much. Bengalis, they eat it. I love it when it's prepared right. Too much I can't take, but the right amount is really nice. But it's you know, it's unique in its own way. And then another seed is planted in the ground. It becomes a sweet mango, right? Just like sweet jelly. Same water, same earth, different genetic code, life inside, pulling that stuff out and turning into these, that mango, it's got this skin around it that's keeping the whole thing preserved. You can keep it for weeks or even months, and all of that sweet, soft, juicy flesh. You take the skin off and it immediately starts to, and it needs to be that way. Otherwise, how could we digest it? Right? It was hard, it's soft inside, but it's protected by this wrapper that Krishna put around it. All encoded into the genetic code, right? And then we get that mango and we peel off the skin, and now we have some time to eat it. And you take that beautiful color too, isn't it? The bitter melon came out a very beautiful green, actually. And the mango is just it's like the sun, You can see the power of the sun right in it. And it's full of nutrition, and it's very sweet. And as soon as that mango hits your tongue, a good, ripe, fresh mango, it's, a chef can't make anything better than that, right? No chef in the world. And it hits your tongue, and what happens when it hits your tongue? Even before it does, as you get the aroma of it, your body begins to release certain enzymes in your saliva that are designed to digest that specifically, right? If you have bitter melon, it would have released other enzymes, right? Connection between your own body, and now we're talking about our body, which is a whole nother thing, right? And then you chew that, and it's getting mixed with that saliva, and it's already starting to break down. And then it goes down and enters into your stomach, and your body becomes nourished in certain ways by that mango. And then your body takes it utilizes so much of it, it releases the rest of it, right? And the water that was in the ocean went up in the air, was carried in the cloud, went down into the ground, went into the mango, went into our body, carried all the nutrition for us, exits the body, and then moves on, becomes something else in the future. All that's happening. It's astonishing. Wondrous, amazing things are going on. Astonishing things are going on. And we're like a kid, like playing the video game, right? Krishna's saying, just look. In this 7th chapter, he's going to say, just look. And look and see all the astonishing things that are going on. And know that it's all me. Think of me when you see it. And when you think of me and you see that, you're going to be uplifted. Your consciousness is going to be refreshed, purified. You'll be able to think of me always if you see me like this. This chapter is like the 10th chapter is a lot like this as well. All right, let's read 7th chapter. Again, just hear from me how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. I shall now declare unto you knowledge. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. Phenomenal means like material, and numinous basically means like the spiritual. Being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. You're going to know both the material and the spiritual, both categories. Right? Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. But you can know me in truth. You can know me in truth, Arjuna. Now we get jnana again, right? Straight up talking about the categories of energy. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. One category of energy. How many more categories are there going to be in the universe? We talked about a certain number of categories, and if we know them, we have jnana. 3. Right? So that was one of them. That was material energy. What are the other 2? But what the spiritual is divided into 2.
Jiva and Paramatma.
Jiva and Paramatma. Those are the 3. We need to know these 3 and how they relate to each other. Krishna's going to talk about all 3 right now. So that's the material energy. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises the living entities, the jivas. Okay? Second category, superior. Why is it superior?
It doesn't have birth or death.
It's eternal.
Okay, it's eternal, right? It's eternal, unchanging. What else?
It's not truth and consciousness. It's a part and partial.
Higher consciousness?
Well, it is conscious, right? The material energy is not conscious. It has no awareness. It doesn't feel anything. Krishna's not interested in that. He's got no interest in the material energy. He's interested in the jiva because he can share love with the jiva. The jiva feels and he feels. Material energy doesn't feel anything. It's not conscious. The superior energy is conscious, right? So, and then he gives us a big hint about what we're doing in this world. Because we can feel, what do? The living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. They're trying to taste the things of this world. They're trying to experience things. All the resources, they're exploiting them. It's a kind of a heavy word, but it literally is quite accurate, right? They're trying to take something from it for their own pleasure, right? Okay, and then there's another category. All created beings have their source in these 2 natures. There's the self and then the body that we're situated in. All that is material, of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain, here's the 3rd category, that I am both the origin and the dissolution. It's by my power, my direction, my energy that creates and ultimately destroys. So those are the 3 categories. But that 3rd category is going to be the most significant, the most important, the most consequential. And he's going to really give us, now he's going to say, see what others don't see. See what others don't see. See me. See me in everything, right? These are the 3 categories, but I'm the one that's making it all move. It's all my energy. So how can you not see me? How can you not see me everywhere, right? Now think about this. Think about this, Arjuna. And this is a very important verse here. O Arjuna, conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Now this is going to be I'm going to get back to this one. There's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me. All that material energy, all the jivas, everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Okay? There's one support that's supporting everything, but you can't see it, but you should see it. If I took these beads off right now, oh, you can look at them right now. Here they are, right? What do you see? What don't you see? The string. But you know it's there, don't you? Don't you know it's there? It has to be there, right? So in a sense, you're seeing the string, right? You know it's there. How can we not know Krishna's there? How could all this be happening if Krishna wasn't there? What's supporting it all? There's got to be something supporting it all, right? We shouldn't be so naive. If I were to say there's no string in here, you would be like, come on. Obviously something holding it all together. It's got to be something holding it all together. Krishna's saying, whatever you see, I'm supporting it. So can't you see me? Right? I'm the one that's supporting it all. Right? There's no truth superior to me. Right? This is significant. It's really significant. Now, the Advaita Vedantins, they're going to say that there's a truth superior to Krishna. And you better forget Krishna. So you can worship Krishna, do your little bhajan. It's nice. It's cute. Kind of sweet. But it's not the real thing. Because all form is illusion. Krishna's got a form, right? That means it's temporary, right? And so your little bhajan, your little worship, your little bhakti ritual, you can do that for some time. I'll even write some songs for you. Shankaracharya wrote devotional bhajans, right? I'll write some songs for you. You can sing these songs. And you'll get purified by it. It'll be good for you. But then when you're ready to get serious, then you kick this Krishna out of the picture. It's illusion. It's not real. That's why we call Maya Adi. Because this body is Maya, this form of Krishna with the flute and all that. It's not real. It's illusion. There's a superior thing to find. That's the Brahman, right? That's the only real truth, right? So there is a principle superior to Krishna. Krishna says, there's no truth superior to me. What was it? There's no truth superior to me, right? When you found me, when you connected to me, there's nothing to go beyond. You've reached, Krishna is going to say, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. The Brahmana comes from me. The Brahman is my energy. I support it, just like I support everything else, right? These verses are important, even though you can't see them, right? Okay. Now he's going to start to give how to see him everywhere. He's going to identify himself with everything that we see in this world, so that when we contact it, we naturally think of him. O son of Kunti, I'm the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I'm the sound in ether and the ability in man. You know, Vedic mantras, Om apavitra pavitro va, right? Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya, Om agyana timarandasya. You know, they all have Om in them. You know, Om is pervading all these mantras. He's saying, so in the mantras, I'm the Om. I'm always inside it. You know, in water, I'm that taste. I'm always in that water, right? All of this is understand. I'm pervading everything. I'm the original fragrance of the earth. I'm the heat and fire. I'm the life of all that lives. I'm the penance of all ascetics. What makes an ascetic what he is because he can do these penances. That's the essence. He's inside. Right? O son of Pritha, know that I'm the original seed of all existences. Everything's growing out of me. Right? There's nothing separate from me. The intelligence of the intelligent, the prowess of all powerful men. I'm the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I'm sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifest by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. There's going to be more talk like this too. Try to understand who I am. That there's nothing that exists in this world that's not my energy and that's not either directly or indirectly under my control. And at the same time, I'm entirely aloof. I'm beyond it all. If we try to create something, we get all caught up in it and we get tied to it and bound to it and attached to it. And he can make all this happen because it's our desire and be untouched by it. Right? This is really significant. This is Krishna knowledge, knowledge of Krishna's nature, right? He's not something that's going to collapse because he's attached to something that's collapsible. He's beyond it always. Therefore, he's the only worthy shelter. You understand? I'll read it again.
Yeah.
Know that all states of being, be they in goodness, passion, or ignorance, that covers the whole material gamut, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent, right? It's all my energy, but if it shifts, like a businessman, he starts a business, a corporation, it's huge. It's in one sense, it's a manifestation of his energy, is it not? His thought, his effort, his insight, vision, control, wealth, all of it went into manifest. It's a manifestation of his energy, his creative energy, but he's attached. If that business collapses, it's like, I've lost so much. Krishna can't lose anything, right? He's independent. He's free. He's beyond it all, right? So know that all states of being, be they goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I'm independent. I'm not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me, right? By within me, he means they're mine. I'm not under them. They're mine. I use them. They don't use me, right? Now he's going to talk about these modes of nature, which Arjuna is currently completely controlled by, and he's going to give a clue, a huge clue. You are thinking that the way that you transcend the modes of material nature is that you go away from the battlefield and become a yogi. I've been telling you that you can do it by doing your duty informed with knowledge. You can be a yogi. But now I'm going to get more direct because we're in the middle 6 chapters now. And now he's going to get more direct about exactly how you transcend. And he's going to say, there's a lot of really hard ways to do it. 6th chapter, we talked about some hard ways to do it, walking alone into the forests, controlling the mind, etc. But this is an easy way, and it works, right? Because those modes of material nature, I just told you, they're mine, right? So how can you overcome them? Just turn to me, right? Just turn to me. Very famous verse here. Why don't you open this one up? Text 14. Dhyaivi hyesha gunamayi. Right? Gunamayi, the gunas are my energy, right? Dhyaivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratya. And this energy of mine, mama maya, is duratya. It's very difficult to deal with. It's very difficult to overcome. It's very powerful stuff. What's the personification of the material energy? Who is the huh?
The goddess Maya.
The goddess. What else do we call her? Durga.
Devi.
Yeah, like Durga. What does she ride on?
A
Ferocious tiger. Right. What does she carry in her hand? Trident. What do the 3 points on the trident represent?
The gunas.
They could represent the gunas. Yes. And what else? Yeah, the 3-fold miseries. She can poke you with that. She is poking us with it all the time. Very powerful. And she's just like way more powerful than us. It's like, we're tiny. And she's super empowered, incredibly empowered, right? Very difficult to overcome. This divine energy of mind consisting of the 3 modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto Mam eva ye prapadyante, one who surrenders unto me, mayam etang tarantate, they can easily cross beyond it. There's our formula. Simple formula. Just surrender to me. I'm the one that controls all this. Right? So see me everywhere. See that I'm controlling everything. See that I'm behind everything. See it. Just like you see the string and the beads, see me behind everything. Don't try to be independent of me. Realize that you can't turn anywhere without seeing me, right? Connect with me, and very easily I'll take you from here to there without any problem at all, right? Okay. Then he's going to talk about, so now he brought in an interesting word here. What's the interesting word here in this verse? In the verse that we just read. This divine energy of mine is very difficult to overcome, right? Consisting of the three modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome. But for one who has
Surrendered.
okay,
Saranagati.
surrendered, right? Surrender. You know, I tell this story sometimes. Are we over time?
It's 57.
Huh?
57.
Okay, let me tell one more story. I was a teenager. I think I was 18 years old. And I was riding my bike with a friend. And we were riding up Park Avenue South, which is, it's called Park Avenue because in the middle it's got like a divider. It's on Park Avenue has actually got like trees planted and everything there. And Park Avenue South is maybe like bushes or something like that, like these kind of planters, you know, big long planters that are in the middle. And we're riding up Park Avenue South and we hear all this commotion, sirens, and definitely a lot of action going on. And we see like right as we're riding our bike up the street, this car comes speeding around, chased by the police. And it turns the corner, but it was going so fast it couldn't quite make the turn. And it crashed into like a lamppost. And then two guys came running out of the car with guns in their hands. And the police are coming right behind. And they jumped out of the car and they ran into, it was like an art supply store that was right in front of them. And they ran into the store. I think that was a bad calculation. I think they shouldn't have gone there. I think as soon as they got in, they realized, what are we going to do now? And they said, we got to get out of here. They turned around and started running out. Right? It was a little bit like one of those comedies or something like that. It didn't feel like it at the time. And me and my friend, we weren't running away from this. We got right behind the planter and we're just watching it all play out right in front of us. So it's like, I'd imagine like the traffic is, what is Park Avenue? It's probably like 3 lanes of traffic, which is probably like not even the width of this room. And so we were sitting like behind a planter, like at that wall, and it was playing out on the sidewalk at about that distance right there. So I'm sitting right there and I'm looking over the thing, and these two guys are coming running out of the store with their guns out. But by this time, the police are there, right? They were thinking, we got to get out of here now, and they're just hoping they were going to have just enough time to escape. And one of them actually did not fully escape, but got around the corner at least. But my eyes were focused on this one man that came out. And when he came out, you ever see Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
Yeah.
Where they come running out and they didn't know what was out there. But when they get out there, they just get shot down. So this man came running out just like that. And he came running out there, had his gun in his hand, and then he saw police are all there and they all had their guns right on him. And this was like, I experienced something in that moment that's a little weird, but you know how sometimes you have that experience like time is moving in slow motion? It wasn't just that it felt like time was moving in slow motion, but I felt like I could feel what he was feeling. I felt like somehow I understood his internal experience. I was really able to perceive it. And what I perceived was surrender. And what I mean by that is, it wasn't like he put his gun down and said, I surrender. He was going to be shot. It was all happening in 1 second. It was like he had the gun in his hand and he was running and they shot him. It was quick, but for me, it felt slow. And when I say surrender, what I mean was inside his mind and heart, what I saw was, I've lived a life. I've been struggling and fighting my entire life. I've been trying to find my place in this world, to get the money that I need, the shelter that I need, the woman that I need, I've been trying to succeed. And the odds have been against me. And I've been trying, and I made this move. And I knew it was a risky one. But I gave it a shot anyway. And it all fell apart. My plans have fallen apart. It was all for nothing. I'm losing everything. And there's nothing I can do. And it was a deep sadness. A very deep sadness. And then poof, he got shot. And he just died right on the sidewalk. I never forget that. It wasn't even the action, but it was that feeling. That feeling. This is surrender. The feeling that I've tried everything and it doesn't work. That's what this material world is meant to help us understand. We're trying. You know, we get a little success and then it slips away from us. And ultimately death takes it all away. And we feel the feelings that man was feeling. There's nothing I can do anymore to resist. Surrender means we stop resisting. And so the idea is we surrender one way or another. Either we voluntarily surrender and become free, or the material energy makes us surrender, right? It gets our arm behind our back and twists and makes us surrender. But one way or another, we surrender. Krishna's saying the whole thing is easy. Hey, you just surrender to me, right? And I take care of everything. You just have to admit, my material endeavors don't work. I was wrong about that. I made a bad calculation. It was the wrong strategy. I get it now. I surrender. I'm in your hands, Krishna. What do you want me to do? That's what Arjuna is going to say at the end of the Bhagavad-gita. Arjuna, have you heard what I said? Is your illusion now gone? Arjuna says, I've heard what you said. My illusion has been dispelled, and I'm prepared to carry out your order. Like that. But that order is not going to, even for him, the order is the hardest order externally. Yes, he's got to fight a battle, kill men that he loves. But he's going to fight it with Krishna, right? He'll fight it with Krishna. It's going to be easy with Krishna in what sense, right? Mameva ye prapadyante mayam vitang tarantate. But if you surrender to me by my grace, he's going to say the same message at the end of the 18th chapter. What is it? Much chita sarva durgani, Durga again. Much chita sarva durgani. All of the Durga, all of the difficult things in life, all the obstacles in life, all the tough stuff out there in your life. Much chitta, sarva durgani. By much chitta, if you bring your chitta, if you bring your awareness to me, much chitta, sarva durgani, all that Durga has to offer out there, all the difficulties in life, all the obstacles in life, much chitta, sarva durgani. What is it? Much chitta sarvadurgani mad prasadat, by my mercy, tarisyasi, you'll cross over it all. Right? By my mercy, you'll cross over it all. It's a simple message. There's Ashtanga yoga, there's Jnana yoga, there's all kind of tapasya, there's all kind of dharma, there's all kind of rituals, there's all these things. They all come from the Vedas. They're all real. They can be stepping stones potentially, but there's just a simple way. Understand that all of these things, they all come from Krishna, and Krishna is behind it all. Krishna is the hand behind everything. He's the thread holding it all together. There's no truth superior to him. If we just surrender to him, just give up the material endeavor, just stop resisting the truth, then we can easily cross over it all by his grace. And that's the real message of the Gita. We don't have to be great yogis. That Krishna doesn't say that's the greatest yogi of all, right? What was it again? Yoginam api sarvesham madgitein antaratmana, right? Of all the yogis, the one that's meditating on me within himself, Shraddhavan, who has faith in me. Bhajate yo mam, worships me. Same yuktata mata. They're the greatest yogi of all. Okay, we covered 6 chapters, some of 7th. I don't know if we're going to cover all 12, or we're going to skip over large parts of it to do it. We'll do it, but we're going to have to summarize a lot. But good chapters. Okay? See how we shifted? How we shifted from Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga now? Now, the next thing we're going to hear about is who surrenders and who doesn't. There's 4 types of people that don't surrender. They never do. And then there's 4 types of people that do surrender. And we're going to hear about how Krishna feels about them. He's going to show his heart. And he's going to say, one of these types of people, he's going to say, even people that surrender to me for totally materialistic purposes because they need money, because they're suffering intensely. He says, they're no doubt they're magnanimous souls. He's so unjudgmental. You're coming to me for money? Okay, you came to me, so I'm happy. Right? But he's going to say, but those that come to me, like the Godfather, why don't you come to me? But those who come to me out of love, those who come without asking me for anything, the way he feels about them, he's going to reveal that. That comes tomorrow. So, if possible, read 7th chapter, 8th chapter, 9th chapter, maybe even 10th chapter. Yeah, we'll see how much we can cover tomorrow. Thank you all so very much. Hari Om Tat Sat.